How's it going, everyone? Welcome to my channel. My name is Brian, and in today's video we are going to be looking at my choices for this season's fantasy draft. So guys, if you follow me over on Twitch, you will know that I do pretty well at these. I've always finished in first or second places for all the fantasy drafts that have ever been done so far. So if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll be going through my thought process and who I've decided for this year's CRL League draft. The link for my Twitch will be down below if you want to come along, get involved in some tournaments and breakdowns of some of the CRL matches. So without wasting any more time with this intro, let's get into my fantasy draft choices. So guys, a little background on Fantasy Royale. So if you do pick these players and they do end up getting crowns during their matches in the CRL League, you get free gems and gold depending on how good they are. So that is one of the best things you can ever get here as a free-to-play player. You can actually earn yourself some gold to unlock them cards. Obviously, 3 crowning your opponent will get you more gold, but in the CRL League, it's very rare that you see that situation happen, so you might want to be picking players who are consistent. So guys, as you can see here, the top person will get 250,000 gold if you get the max score, which is very possible if you stick around to the end of the video to see which I pick. In the top 10%, you get yourself 50,000 gold, and the top 25%, you get yourself 2,000 gold. So I will be doing my absolute best to help you guys out in picking your top selection for Fantasy Draft. So guys, let's have a look at the rosters here. We have Chivas Esports, who has Adrian Piedra and Diego B. Diego B famously used to be playing for Team Liquid, one of the best players to ever come out of Clash Royale, and Adrian Piedra, one of the OGs of the game. 2 very good players in that team. We don't really know much about Kevin Ra Pompey, but I would say Kevin Ra is not that famous at the minute. Doesn't mean he's a bad player, I just don't know much about him, so he isn't going to make one of my selections, whereas Diego B is in and amongst one of my choices. We move forward to Cream Real Betis, another Spanish team who has Saint Belkin, one of the best players to ever come out of the UK. Very, very good player, and they done so well in the last CRL, so it might be worth watching these guys. I don't think they might be making my choices though, so stick around if you want to find out who they are. Saint Belkin though is one of the people I might be going for. Then we move over to Dignitas, who has got Lindsay, one of the most destructive players in the game. You might want to be picking him over anyone else. Bale, I don't know much about. Codigo and Flash, I know them from last season, but I don't think they'll be making one of my choices. Then we go over to Misfits Gaming, who has 2 OG players again in Air Surfer and Wings, 2 of the most players that have got the most crowds throughout all CRL. They have played in, I think, every single CRL league, so you might want to be paying attention to these 2. Very, very good players. I don't know much about Schwarzen and Bob the Rock, but they might be doing well, but they haven't made my choice, as you will see in a minute. Moving on from there, we have Pain Gaming. They don't really have the best roster. I don't even think any of these players, unfortunately, are going to make my team. Doesn't mean they're bad, doesn't mean they won't do well, and you know what, I could be surprised by them, but they're not going to make my fantasy choices here. They've got a little bit more to gain before they can actually get into there, a little bit more impressive, but I may be trading them in as the season goes on, so make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see how they get on. Now we go over to one of the best teams in the game, where we have SK Gaming. Morton and OP Sam are one of the best, if not the best, duos partners on the planet. These guys are destructive. Javi14 is another amazing player, and Sergio Ramos, his record speaks for himself. You do not have to worry. Any choices from SK Gaming, you are looking to be setting yourself up for a win. So moving on from there, we're on to Space Station Gaming. They went ridiculously far because they are amazing. Crap and the God RF, 2 of the best players in the world, without a doubt. The God RF has been about from the very beginning of this game in all the CRL League. He is a force to be reckoned with, an absolute fear. You do not want to come up against him, and that is why he is one of the best players on the planet. Lapacati is, well, one of the best known mortar players on the planet as well. He is, I think he was the only player to ever have top 1-2 spot on ladder before. Correct me if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments down below if that's incorrect or correct. I would like to know. I just think that's true. He is an absolute huge player of the game, another player you might want to add into your squad. So we have Team Liquid here with the most famous player in Clash Royale, Id Surgical Goblin. One of the best matches of all time was between him and Morton in the semi-finals of the last live event in CRL. You also have Igor, one of the best head-to-head players of all time, and Razor, who now does not have his buddy Colton in 2v2, so it's going to be a bit of a up in the air thing to see who these guys are going to play in their 2v2, but Razor himself is an unbelievable player, and Canario's record speaks for himself. one of the best players ever in Clash Royale. He is one of the most feared players in head-to-head, and it can also do 2v2 all the time as well. So these guys here might be one of the best choices you can go for. They might be famous, they might be the most common picks, but there's a reason for that. They should be staples within your fantasy draft choice. And next up we have Team Queso, the team who won the first CRL league in the West, or it was Europe back in the time. Very, very good players. The players here that I know of are JP. He is ridiculously good. Ruben, I don't know too much about, but I hear he is a fantastic player. I didn't follow his games that much in the last CRL league. Benny Ju and Chui Ku. I think I've pronounced that right, sorry if I've slated your name. Two players that I don't know much about either, but the Team Queso is obviously one of the first teams that ever won it, so they are a very good team. But the roster they've brought in now, I don't think it's got the strength to go the distance. I think they might not even make playoffs, and if they do, that is a bit of a push. But there's a couple of players there who might be getting the crowns for the team and trying to carry them, so they might be worth a choice in there. So I'll leave that to you in just a second. And finally, we have Tribe Gaming, the team I support the most, because they have Boofmac, one of my favourite players ever, who famously got that 3 crown sweep in the very end of King of the Hill to take their team with Team Liquid into the grand finals. They have also got Jupiter King and TNT, two very dangerous players. You do not want to be messing with them. They are ridiculously good. And Azealis, one of the best French players of all time. So there might be a couple of choices here you want to go for. So that is the roster for all the Clash Royale West teams, and let's have a look now to see who I've picked. Now, after doing a bit of analysis and finding out who I've won based on last season performance and sometimes the season before, I have went with Martin, the God RF, Igor and Azealis. One of the best players who got the most crowns, even trying to get 3 crowns as well. But I also think these players will go the distance. If there is some substitutes that I have to make and do some trades throughout the season, I will be making them and keeping you up informed. So if you do want to stay up to date with them, please drop a sub down below. These are my choices. This is the team that's going to get you that 250,000 gold. So if you do want to see all my analysis and who I pick, please drop a sub down below and make sure to follow me on Twitch. So that's all for today's video, guys. Please leave a like down below if you did enjoy this video in this style. Please drop a sub if you want to follow me and see how I get on with the rest of these, and if I make trades as time go on. If you have picked different teams, I would love to hear your teams. Please leave them in the comments down below. I will be reading every single comment and every team there and be giving my opinions on them. That's it for today. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.